Ladies and gentlemen, please don't be enamored with Jim Rohn. Don't be distracted by your future spouse and overwhelmed with the cryptocurrency dollars that are flying at you every time you turn around from everywhere you look. In this session, I'm going to give you the first 5 steps. Please decide to take action and do something with them.
Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the number one mind in network marketing, the MLM Prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Hey, this is Dale Calvert. I hope you've had a phenomenal week. This session's going to be, it is being recorded on Sunday afternoon. It'll drop on Tuesday. Yesterday, Saturday, March 3rd, 2022 will probably go down in history as one of the most significant days in my entrepreneurial career. Sincerely. I mean, time will tell if it works out that way. And if it does turn out to be true, then that will definitely be a topic for another time and place down the road. But today, all I can think about, or all I can think to myself, is God really has a sense of humor. That's really about all I can say at this point. And I know some of you are probably thinking I'm talking about how exciting it is to have iHub Global team members from around the country posting pictures and videos of their H&T hotspot crypto mining boxes that were starting to be delivered last week. And yes, that is beyond thrilling, long awaited. But the series of events from yesterday could be even more significant than that. And of course, well, time will tell. But anyway, my daughter Channing and my grandson Tice are on their way from Kentucky to Atlanta to spend a little bit of time with us. They should be here in a couple of hours. It's Tice's spring break and I can't wait to see them. They should be here in a couple of hours. I think we'll probably end up going to go to the Georgia Aquarium and maybe the zoo and maybe do a tour of the Coke plant here in Atlanta. But my plan is to totally unplug as much as possible and just focus on the time I have with them, because honestly, nothing is more exciting to me than to be able to spend that time. Anyway, I received a lot of feedback and comments after last week's podcast, show number 283, which was titled Show Me the Money. This session is really a continuation of that thought process. I sincerely appreciate your comments, your feedback. It was all very positive, very good. I think it spoke to a lot of people that had gotten involved in the friendship social club trap or the personal development path. I appreciate your comments, and it was very encouraging for me. And please keep those coming always, guys. I depend on it. But for the couple of you that sent me emails, one in particular talking about how I've changed, and you never thought I would be talking about money, and you never thought Dale Calvert would join the Greedy MLM Pigs group. The Greedy MLM Pigs group. Well, I agree. There's a lot of greedy MLM pigs. I agree. There's greedy pigs in every profession, in every niche. But all I have to say to you is you either didn't listen to the podcast and you just read the title, Show Me the Money, or you listened and you're not smart enough to understand the point I was trying to communicate. And really, whatever it is, it's better to not send an email to people insulting them and calling them a greedy pig and to be thought of as I have always thought of you, and to be thought of as a moron, than to send the email and remove all doubt that yes, indeed, you are a moron and you know who I'm talking to. And for the record, enough's enough, and all future emails coming from your IP address will be blocked. And if you haven't heard the session yet, sorry guys, I just needed to vent a little bit, get that out. But if you haven't heard the session yet, I highly suggest that you listen to the episode first and then come back to this one. You can access it directly online at MLMsuccess.com/story 283. 283 is a numeral. MLMsuccess.com/story 283. I also put it in the notes in the description below in the podcast. And again, it's called Show Me the Money. My main point in that session is that network marketing, for those that totally get plugged into the right team, the right culture, the right company. And again, if you don't ever get plugged in and get locked in, then it doesn't matter. But for those that do, and you get with the right team, right company, it's so good in so many ways that sometimes we can lose focus on the reasons we joined to begin with. Sometimes we can lose focus. And let's just take a second and kind of unpack that statement a little bit. I mean, why did you join network marketing? Obviously it was 99% of the people, it was for the financial rewards, the financial benefits, the things that this profession could provide for you and your family. Maybe to get out of a dead-end job or a job that's driving you crazy, to spend more time with your kids. There's all types of reasons that people get involved, and it doesn't matter what your reasons are. They're between you and you. You know, my reasons are mine, your reasons are yours, but most everybody that joins this profession, 99% of the people that get involved in network marketing do so to make a positive impact on their finances in some way. However, many of us understand and have experienced that the real benefit of network marketing is the personal development. It's the number one personal development program in the world, and it will help you develop positive thoughts, thought processes, and habits around what I call the wheel of life, or the 7 key areas of life, which are physical, mental, family, financial, career, spiritual, and social. That's the wheel of life. And network marketing is an unbelievable personal development program, not just for what it will do financially for you as far as your financial mindsets, but all aspects of your life. So in the title of this week's session, when I say don't be enamored with Jim Rohn, that's really what I'm trying to communicate, that if you know me, you know I love Jim Rohn. And the impact his wisdom of the ages principles continue to have on my life every single day. However, we all have seen those who have gotten so caught up in the personal development aspect of this business that they go, quote marks here, but they go out on a limb, where the main thing is no longer the main thing. Developing a positive financial impact for themselves or their family is no longer the main thing. And they go out on a limb with these secret principles the masses don't know about, but they learn the principles, but they never put them into action. They may have the knowledge, but they don't take the action upon the knowledge. And the only thing worse than not knowing what to do and how to do it with the right mindsets is knowing and not taking action. Knowledge without action leads to self-delusion. And people can forget about, the positive financial impact they were looking for when they entered the profession, when they get so caught up in the personal development aspects of this business. It's time for some of you to decide. It really is. Some of you have to decide. Those of you that are caught up in this personal development world, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the greatest benefit of this profession. But this year, you have to tell yourself, look, this year I'm going to pay off my credit cards. This year I'm going to paint my house. This year I'm going to buy this new car. I mean, 1/4 of 2022 is almost over, and I'm going to take my kids to Disney World this year. You got to set a go and do not, and do I want you to make sure that you are hearing me. You got to set a goal like this year. This is what's going to happen, and do not be denied. Do not be denied. If the team and the opportunity you are involved with does not give you the opportunity to accomplish that goal, find one that does. Find one that does. But you've got to get out of this personal development. We all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, world in which you live, because we all have a better way, and get on with it and get with the right company, right team, right product, right service, get into the marketplace, produce results, produce income, and take your kids to Disney World or whatever your goal is for this year. And you got to get it done now. You can't continue to play MLM. It's time to build your business. So we've covered don't be enamored with Jim Rohn, and what I really mean by that, and I know most of you take that the right way, and those that don't send me an email. So what does distracted by your future spouse, what the heck does that mean, Dale? Because the title of this session, is Don't Be Enamored with Jim Rohn, Distracted by Your Future Spouse and Overwhelmed with the Cryptocurrency Dollars Flying at You Everywhere. Here is your first 5 steps. So what do I mean when I say don't be distracted by your future spouse? It's not really talked about a lot, but I think it's no secret that some people, men and women, use the network marketing business model like an eHarmony website or whatever the most popular dating app is today. I mean, they're out there. And for those that are willing to plug in and get serious about personal growth, the personal growth that everybody talks about in this profession, they're soon going to discover that the right network marketing team can give you the opportunity to develop some of the best friendships you will ever develop. And yes, many find their future partners, maybe even when they weren't looking, through being involved with a network marketing team and the right culture. And over the years, I mean, I've met many people that found their spouse through the network marketing company they were working. I mean, heck, that's how Dawn and I met. She attended a regional meeting here in Atlanta when I was the corporate trainer for Ameriplan. And at the time, I was doing 2 Super Saturday events a month for them. I had a contract for a couple of years, and I was traveling everywhere, different cities all over the U.S., and she happened to attend the one here in Atlanta. And if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know the story, so I'm not going to go into all that. But, that's a real part of this profession. But when I say distracted by your future spouse, I don't mean that literally, even though it is quite possible. Okay, but I don't mean that literally. What I'm really trying to communicate is that the friendships that you develop are phenomenal. But people can develop these friendships, and we can get trapped in a business because of the friendships and the social aspects of MLM, and getting a point where we allow ourselves to be denied of the money, of the lifestyle, of the reasons we entered the profession to begin with. There's 2 important things that many great people in MLM just don't understand. People with leadership titles, a lot of people that I've met over the years in multiple different companies, they just don't understand this. And it's sad to me that they can't get this because it's so important. And I see and think about many leaders, Curry and others, that just don't get this. They don't get it. There's 2 things. Number 1, if you're not surrounding yourself by other positive leaders who are taking this business very seriously, doing the work, progressing, and growing their business every month, if you're not surrounded by those type of people, it's nearly impossible for you to do so. Yes, I mean, you can listen into Clubhouse or whatever and hear dozens of people talking the talk, but I'm not talking about that people that got lucky and struck gold one time in their network marketing career, but really never taught anybody else how to do much of it. They just got lucky and hit gold one time. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, good, hang out on Clubhouse and listen to that stuff. But what I'm talking about is surrounding yourself with people that are in the marketplace today, every day, walking the walk. What's the old saying about birds of a feather? What do? Birds of a feather flock together, right? So you've heard me say on this podcast, your income is the average of your 5 closest friends or relatives, and that some of you just need to get some new friends, some new neighbors. The point being, I know a lot of great people, solid leaders, and many MLM companies who will never fulfill their upside potential simply because they hang out with the wrong crowd. People that are social club members who think because they have a business card and a title from the company that they're building something significant. But the truth is they are stagnant. They're on a hamster wheel just spinning round and round and round. And the whole profession has become borderline delusional. You've got to surround yourself with positive people that are doing the work, progressing, and growing their business. Second thing, when you get with the right company, the right team culture at the right time in history, when you are hanging out with real entrepreneurs, real people who are expanding their comfort zones, they're fighting procrastination, they're devoting the time, and they're working on their business every single day, people that are moving forward, growing, progressing. When you get around those type of people, those new friendships that you develop are stronger, deeper, and better. Stronger, deeper, and better. People mistakenly think that if they pivot to another company or another team or another organization, that they leave friends behind. And the truth is, the friendships you make with action takers are much more stronger, and much more influential. And you must have this type of culture to fulfill your true upside potential. You must hang out with people that are doing the work, not a bunch of wantrepreneurs. How can this possibly not make sense, this concept, these two ideas, to intelligent people? How can this not make sense? I mean, really, how does this not make sense? Birds of a feather flock together. There's more passive income that's being made in the cryptocurrency space than most network marketers can wrap their minds around. So for the lady that called me a greedy MLM pig, for me, the fact that there's more passive income to be made in the cryptocurrency space than most network marketers can wrap their minds around translates in my mind as more ways to help people, to make a positive impact for people. So let me say that again. There's more passive income to be made in the cryptocurrency space than most network marketers can wrap their minds around. And what I find fascinating is that if someone had told me about 5 or 6 months ago that statement, it would have went in one ear and out the other. Like I see it doing right now for many of you listening. Right now, it's happening for many of you. I have no doubt that some of you, some of the network marketers that are listening to me right now, who know me, who've known me for years, some of you, and should know better, and know that I don't blow smoke. I have no, it doesn't help me at all to make that statement. And you should be hearing what I'm trying to communicate right now. And I've always been fascinated by some people can hear facts and internalize them, and some people cannot register the difference between facts and, just somebody just blowing smoke. But when I say There's more passive income to be made in the cryptocurrency space than most network marketers can wrap their mind around. They may think they understand what I'm saying, but they really don't yet. But if you keep hanging around this podcast in my world at cmgcrypto.com, you will find out. You will see. I promise you that. Listen, over the past 40 years, I have built, bought, and sold more businesses than I can count. I've been involved with and evaluated and studied multiple brick and mortar and online business opportunities. Everything from sports cards and collectibles, Shopify stores, real estate, Amazon FBA, storage facilities, tax lien investing. I mean, Dawn and I have sold high-end purses and shoes on eBay. It was our first business together. I've been involved in shrimp farming, Kindle publishing, flipping websites, buying and selling domain names, and on and on and on and on. The number of investments and businesses I've been in go on and on and on. Not to mention, I own one of the second webinar company in the world. But after starting my first, real business when I was 14 years old, which that business was a direct mail business out of my parents' home, I can say today with 100% confidence on April 2022, there is more passive income to be made in the cryptocurrency space than most people can wrap their minds around, even experienced network marketers. And the network marketing niche itself, network marketing made the term passive income mainstream. Yes, without question, there are many scams and rug pulls and people hanging out that, just trying to steal money from people. No question about that. People that are greedy people that, one day their 15 minutes of fame will be on the American Greed TV show. But that doesn't change the fact. It does not change the fact that there is more passive income to be made in the cryptocurrency space than most people can wrap their minds around, even experienced, competent network marketers. So based upon the comments and feedback I've been getting, I want to quickly share with you the first 5 steps I would suggest if one of my daughters came to me and said, Dad, I know you've been studying this crypto market around the clock for a few months, and I want to start this long, windy, confusing path. Where should I start? This is what I would tell my daughter. And understand, this is not what I'm necessarily trying to tell you to do. You do what you want to do. Everybody's situation is different. We have people living in homeless shelters and tents who are listening to this podcast, as well as multimillionaires and everybody in between. I'm not a financial planner or an advisor. I am a student. I'm a cryptocurrency enthusiast. I'm an entrepreneur that studies this market daily with the mindset of being able to, at some point, possibly attempt to sequentially teach it to others and what I'm learning and understanding. But you got to do your own research. So here's what I would tell my daughter. Here's the 5 first steps I would tell her to take. Number 1, the first thing and again, we're looking from a passive income standpoint, but also a retirement, financial independence standpoint, okay? Financial planning standpoint. We're looking at it from a big, broad picture. We're not talking about just passive income here. We're talking about, building wealth, the path to wealth, the path to financial independence. So you're not dependent upon the government or a job or a company. Here's what I tell my daughter to do. Number 1, I would say start a crypto IRA with I Trust Capital and hold Bitcoin in it, and do not trade in this account. Just buy Bitcoin. Put Bitcoin in there. Whatever your maximum amount you can put in there every year, and that changes. I'm not sure what it is currently, but whatever the max you can put in that IRA, put it in and buy Bitcoin. In my opinion, an IRA is the foundational block as it relates to retirement and financial planning. And there's basically 3 types of IRAs. You have a traditional IRA. And the good thing about that, if contributions are typically tax deductible and growth can be tax exempt or tax deferred, they're actually tax deferred, but you'll be taxed on the money when you take it out of retirement. So that's a traditional IRA. I've always believed in and recommended a Roth IRA because contributions they're not tax deductible, but you're depositing money that you've already paid taxes on. So if you take profits from your business and you put it in a Roth IRA, you're going to pay taxes on those profits when you do your taxes that year. But it can provide tax-free income on withdrawals and earnings once you're at retirement age. So if you buy Bitcoin today and it's $42,000 and you retire in 10 years and it's $1.1 million, it can provide, again, tax-free income on those withdrawals and earnings after you're at retirement age. So you can build an unbelievable nest egg on money that you've already paid taxes on and then put it in Bitcoin, which many people, myself included, believe that it will get to 100,000 plus a year. I would say within the next, if I had to guess, 18 months, 24 months for sure would be my guesstimate. And again, I don't know anything. But at some point will be $1 million coin. And by the time my 30-something-year-old daughters are retirement age, they can be in really good shape with a Roth IRA. And then there's the third type of IRA is a rollover IRA. And a lot of people coming out of corporate America, they're rolling over their old 401ks into an IRA, and it can make managing their retirement much easier and still offering, some tax deferred growth or tax deferred growth. And again, I'm not a CPA. Dawn and I, a couple months ago, rolled over both of our IRAs, which were Roth IRAs, into a cryptocurrency Roth IRA with iTrust Capital. And I've got a whole video on this and an article about it. I'll put the link in the description. It's over at cmgcrypto.com. But for me, that's the foundation. That's the first thing. There's really 2 things, and I'll talk about number 2 next. The second thing I would tell my daughter is start a crypto savings account with Anchor Protocol. I don't understand why anyone would want to have a savings account at a bank, paying virtually nothing as far as interest is concerned, actually losing money with the inflation rates that we're seeing today. So have a crypto savings account. We've done this. Again, I didn't even know they existed 5 or 6 months ago. Didn't even know a crypto IRA existed a few months ago. Okay. But again, guys, I've been head over heels, deep into this world, learning, studying everything that I can. So the second thing is I would start a crypto savings account with Anchor Protocol. I mean, many experienced crypto investors use the word, and I'm saying this with air quotes, but they use the word safe when describing Anchor Protocol. Currently, it's the highest paying and most used cryptocurrency savings account. And I'm calling it a savings account. Technically, it's not that, but it works the same way. And it's the most used cryptocurrency savings account with crypto traders around the world. And they provide you about a 20% APY and, every single year. And again, I've got a whole video and a whole article and talk about this in great detail. And I'll leave that link in the description as well. For me, I believe the savings account and an IRA, a Roth IRA, are the foundational financial blocks, the stone on which to build your retirement and your financial independence. If someone had taught me this stuff when I was in my 20s, I would give anything if somebody taught me this when I was in my 20s. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate with this. And some of you you understand what I'm saying. You're absolutely right, Dale. You're right with me. You got an IRA is for retirement without question, best financial vehicle ever created, Roth IRA, and then a savings account as well. I believe in emergency funds. You have, enough to live for 3 months with no income put away in an emergency fund, as Dave Ramsey talks about. So, the obvious place to put that is in an account that will pay you 20% annual percentage rate. So you have your traditional blocks in place. Once you have your traditional blocks in place, some of you do, some of you don't. If you don't, that would be where I would start. I don't care if you're 72 years old or if you're 17 years old. That's where I would start. And I'm sure that many of you that are listening, I said, Dale, I got mine. I'm good. That's cool. But I'm sure a lot of you have young adults in your family tree that could benefit from this information. And if you do, share this podcast session with them. Really, they'll be glad that you did. Like I said earlier, and many of you can relate, I wish anybody had shared this with me when I was in my early 20s. But I think a Roth IRA and a savings account, those two financial platforms, vehicles in place, are hard to argue with when it comes to financial, foundational financial. That's kind of hard to say. Foundational financial building blocks. It's my personal belief that if you're going to have an IRA, it should be a Roth IRA. In 2022, it should be with iTrust Capital with Bitcoin sitting in it. That you're not trading in that account. You're not buying anything. You're not looking for the next moonshot crypto metaverse coin. It's a store of value sitting in an IRA, which will help you in your retirement. And it's just sitting there, even if it's just $200. Even if it's just $200 in Bitcoin, whatever you can do to get that process started, I would recommend that you do it. And if you have to diversify a little bit, then the only thing I would say is put a little bit in Ethereum if you want to. But if you're going to have a savings account, you cannot safely beat, in crypto terms safe, Anchor Protocol. Now, I know at least one of my daughters, because I know their personalities, and maybe some of you are listening are saying, Dad, that sounds great, but I don't have any money to put into an IRA or a savings account. And let me say something to you, and I want you to hear what I'm saying. That mindset is unacceptable. It's the most self-defeating, and it's more self-defeating than I can ever explain. If you're listening to this, you're saying, well, yeah, Dale, I'd love to have some money to put in a savings account. I'd love to have some money to put in an IRA. You got to get past that and past that today, like now, no more. As human beings, we don't get what we want. We get what we expect. So, your goal, start with the minimum amounts if you have to. Do whatever you have to. The next profits from your business should not be invested in business cards. You need to start an IRA and a savings account. not having the money to have these basic foundational financial vehicles. If you're at least 25 years old and you live in a country that offers free enterprise, you're not in a communist country, it's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. Let me ask you something. And I'm getting a little strong here, but I'm acting like you're my daughter, okay? But if your life depended upon it, and I know that's getting a little overdramatic, but if your life depended on it, and you had to get an IRA and a savings account funded in the next 30 days, what would you do? If your life depended upon it, and you said, I got to get my IRA funded, and I've got to get my savings account set up, and I have to do it in 30 days, or my life depends upon it, what would you do? So my suggestion to you is get that done first and get it done as soon as possible. Now, maybe you won't be able to do it in 30 days, but that has to be number one and number two on your list as far as I'm concerned. And then just stay plugged into this podcast and what we're doing over at cmgcrypto.com because again, these is just foundational blocks we're talking about, but stay plugged into what we're doing because there is more passive income to be made in the cryptocurrency space than most people can wrap their minds around. Even experienced network marketers and the network marketing niche came up with the term and created the term and made the term passive income mainstream. Absolutely no excuses. None. So I'll ask you, what is your plan to get your IRA and savings account funded? Get them started because you can't grow them until they're started. Does that make sense? And people for years, oh, I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to do that. And it's 5, 10, 15 years down the road and they still haven't done it. No more. That ends today. Today that ends. Don't buy business cards. Don't do anything. Figure out how to get your savings account and your IRA funded. That's the foundational first two steps. In network marketing terms, it's like your 20 reasons and top 3 list. That's the start. And it has to start right now, today. Make a commitment, not to me. It's not going to affect me one way or the other, but making a commitment to yourself to get those first 2 steps done. Number 3, create a crypto investment bankroll. That was what I would tell my daughter. The best place to start is a booklet that we recently did. It's called 12 Ways to Get Free Bitcoin. 12 Ways to Get Free Bitcoin. You can download that, and you should today if you haven't already, and read it and implement it at igetminefree.com. igetminefree.com and start your bankroll. Now, things to think about to create your crypto bankroll is what can you sell on Facebook Marketplace to start your bankroll? What can you sell on eBay to start your bankroll? Back in the day when we were teaching eBay and how to create a $5,000 plus monthly income with eBay, the first place we started people was we said to get a clothes basket and fill it up with 20 items that will sell from anywhere from $10 to $25 each, and put them in a clothes basket, items that you would be willing to get rid of that you'll never be missed. Yes, that fancy designer purse that you never carry anywhere, and, whatever it is, 20 items, and sell them on eBay. Now you've got a little bit of a bankroll to start doing some retail arbitrage and some of the other ways that we teach people to create cash flow with eBay and online auctions. Same principle applies here, only instead of creating cash flow to start an eBay business, we're creating cash flow to create a bankroll to get in this cryptocurrency world. Does that make sense? So what can you sell on Facebook Marketplace to start to get your bankroll going? Now, I want you to really hear what I'm getting ready to say. This is so important. You cannot miss it. Don't worry about learning about all the passive income profits available in crypto until you have a bankroll that you can work with. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Don't worry about the passive income profits available in crypto until you have a bankroll that you can work with. Does that make sense? Now, some of you listening, you've got money put away in savings accounts and whatever, and you know, you've got money. So what do I do with that money? Here's what I would do. Take some time and say, okay, I'm going to start with $20,000. I'm going to start with $5,000. I'm going to start with $1,000, whatever that number is. Again, we have people listening to this podcast that are multimillionaires. We have people that are living in homeless shelters and everybody in between. Everybody's situation is different. But if you want to maximize and take advantage of the world in which we live, the infancy of cryptocurrencies in the United States, now is the time to do it. So figure out where do you want to start with and what do you want to do with the money that you have? What is your goal to do? What do you want to create? You know, you want to get into this world. But again, I cannot stress this strongly enough because so many people, man, I've seen it in every niche I've been involved with my entire life. You know, they're worrying about all this big picture stuff and they don't have 2 pennies to squeeze together to be able to do anything. And they're asking themselves the wrong questions. Their sequence is out of whack. It's out of order. I mean, you got people in network marketing. We're going to, you know, these high level, coming up with the money and going to these, $9,000 weekend courses on how to close people and taking advanced sales training, closing training, and they don't even know how to prospect their mama. And it just drives me crazy. There's a sequential process to learning everything. I hope that makes sense. So don't worry about the passive income profits available in crypto until you have a bankroll to work with. And it doesn't matter what that bankroll is. It doesn't. You know, get your IRA, get your savings account funded, and then work on a bankroll. Now, I started this year with $25,000. And I said, my goal this year is to take $25,000 and turn it, and to see if I can turn it into $100,000 this year. I talked about that, I think, on the Show Me the Money podcast last week. So if you have fun sending a savings account or somewhere else, that might make sense for you. It's up to you. It's your decision. But that's my advice to my daughter. So, number 1, set up your IRA. Number 2, set up your savings account. Number 3, start working on your bankroll. Figure out what your bankroll is going to be for you to continue to move forward in this sequential process. Number 4, I have to say this because it just makes too much sense for me for you not to do it because it's so simple. And that's number 4, order your hotspot. Order your iHub Global. Join our team member and order your iHub Global Helium Hotspot Miner. If you don't know about that, you should. If you listen to this podcast very much, I'll leave a link in the description for that as well. Here's the bottom line. It costs you $18 a month. It may make you $25 a month. It may make you $50. It may make you $100. It may make you $135. It may make you $235. I don't know. But I do know this. If you get plugged into the side gig part of this and you help build out the Internet of Things network and you share this with a few people, then I know you will be in profit real quick. And for me, the way I look at it, honestly, $18 a month. $18 a month. If you didn't make 1 penny, you did not make 1 cent, but you get to hang out with some awesome people. It would be the best $18 you could invest in your financial future. You get to hang out with our team members on our private Zooms. You get to plug into our private Facebook groups. Are you kidding me? You get to hang out with some awesome people for $18 a month. My gosh. Well, this whole thing's going to be over in 18 months to 2 years, because right now there's over almost 700,000 of these hotspots deployed in homes and businesses and offices all over the world. And it's growing rapidly. And once there's about 3 million of these hotspots in the United States, then you'll no longer even be able to get your hands on a box. The boxes will stop being made and the network will be built out. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I apologize, but you need to check it out. And we have all the strategies to make sure that if you're willing to put 5 hours a week into it, it's going to be extremely profitable for you. And that's what I would do. The actual website is cmgihubteam.com. You can learn more, but I'll put the link in the description as well. So that would be the fourth thing I would do. Now, in my mind, this is just the basic financial foundation fundamentals, okay, for being involved in the cryptocurrency world. And if that's all you ever wanted to do, then cool. You got a phenomenal IRA that's going to, by all experts' opinions, it's going to do extremely well for you if you have Bitcoin sitting in it and Ethereum. You got a savings account paying you 20% a month. You got a box that you've got plugged in to your wall that's sitting somewhere in your home, that's paying you, whatever a month in passive income, enough to at least take your spouse out for a nice dinner once a month and pay for the babysitter too. And if you want to help build out the network, I think my goal is to help 200 people make a $50,000 side gig income this year, but it's going to take 5 hours of committed, focused, dedicated work, doing the right thing. But if you're willing to do that, you have the mindset to do that, then we can help you there. And you get to hang out with some cool people and stay plugged into other crypto projects as we continue to move forward over the next, for many years down this road. And honestly, right now, I'm getting excited for you because I'm thinking, my gosh, I'm sincerely getting excited for you if that's all that you ever do. See, because back in 2017, when I bought Ethereum and Bitcoin just as a store of value, I've bought gold and silver throughout my life as a store of value, an asset against inflation. And when I decided in 2017, I'm just going to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin, that was a phenomenal move for me. It really was. But I didn't even think about it. I just bought it and put it away. I didn't even think about it anymore. I didn't. And if I hadn't found out about this whole passive income through crypto mining with H&T through the Helium Network and the Internet of Things, I never would have got back into this world. And I'm beyond thankful that I have. But my point being, today in 2022, you want to get crypto educated and just get, plant your flag a little bit and get, a basic store of value type game plan together, then those are the four things that you should do. Those are the four things you should do. Get your hotspot. If you want to invest further, create your bankroll, and then definitely get your savings account and your IRA set up and just hang out. You don't have to get serious about this if you don't want to, but you don't want to miss this whole new financial trend totally, do you? You don't want to miss it all. So I'm excited for you because, now you got a crypto IRA, a savings account. And I'm looking at it like I'm talking to my daughter, honestly, but this is how I feel. You got your crypto IRA, your savings account. You got a bankroll that you're wanting to, maybe you're kind of interested in metaverse and you've heard your dad talk about this sandbox token or Axie Infinity or some of the other metaverse tokens or whatever, and you have a hotspot miner on its way that you can plug in, create passive income, and then you can get plugged into our group of like-minded people who are on our team Zooms every week and in our private Facebook page. I'm being serious. I mean, I really am. Look at the direction. Look at the direction your life can take over the next few weeks just from following the 4 steps and taking action. Think about that for a minute. You know, a lot of times in life we come to crossroads, and most of the time we don't recognize we're at the crossroads till after we've already gone down the road a few miles. But a lot of you listening, you're at crossroads, and I think about that. I think about, my gosh, you know, the direction that can happen that you can take over the next few weeks that can really make a huge impact on your life. It really can, your financial life. And I know some of our listeners, like Alan Knight out in California and others, have already taken these 4 steps. And if you haven't, it's not like, because it's not like it's something I haven't written about or talked about. And if you haven't, and you're plugged in, or you think you're plugged into what we do, and you haven't taken those 4 steps, now might be a good question to ask yourself, why? I mean, has Alan had access to more info than you have? You can ask him. I know what he's going to tell you. He just listens to the podcast, and he reads cmgcrypto.com. And I've noticed him on our team broadcast that we do, our webinars. It's like, what was I talking about last week? I was talking about the M2 Match 2 miner. It's a miner. It mines a cryptocurrency. I can't recall what it is right now, which one it mines, but it's just a mining box that you can buy. It's out of Germany. And I just was briefly mentioning it, and I can see Alan on the Zoom, and I saw him pick up a pen, and I see him writing it down. See, that's the only difference, guys. That's the only difference. I mean, that's all he's done. I mean, he would tell you, you know, this has been like learning Chinese. It's not been easy, but he has proven himself that if other people can do it, he can do it. And he's just taking the information and putting it into action. That's all he's doing. And everybody listening to me can do these first 4 steps, and you should be. At the least. That's the least you should be doing. I really believe that. Note to myself. This is a note to Dale. It would probably be really cool, and Alan, I know you're listening, and remind me of this, to have you on the podcast, and maybe some other, if you think it would be good, let me know. But I think it'd probably be good to have Alan on the podcast here in the future, just talking about where he is now on this crypto journey, because we don't talk. People think I talk to him every other day. I respect him tremendously, and many other people on our team as well. But, you know, I've watched his progression and his mindset and his ability to take action and learn and not be afraid to fail. So it's really, really cool. So we need to get him on the podcast. Okay, those are the first 4 steps. Number 5, step 5, this is the final step. I would say create your own personal plan and goals, whatever they are. Whatever you want to accomplish in this crypto world. Start where you are and move forward, and start moving forward today. I would tell you that if you're uncertain, you need to do your own research and find the red flags and sell yourself on where this is going. Understand your own personal risk tolerance, and then create a plan with your spouse. And as I've already shared with you guys, My goal this year, can I take 25,000, turn it into 100,000? If I can, then I can take 100,000, turn it into 400,000. The next year, my third year, the 400,000, I can grow it to 1.2 million. If I take the 1.2 million, grow it 4 times, now I'm over 4.8 million, and so on and so forth. And that's the path to $10 million. And it's starting with 25,000, but you could start with 500. It doesn't matter where you start. You could start with $250,000 if you want to. It's whatever makes sense for you. And for some of you, please hear me. Please hear me. This is real important. Some of you, if you took $299 out of your savings account, it's paying you nothing basically, where you're losing money on it every year, for sure, guaranteed. And you took $299 and you got it into Anchor Protocol that will pay you 20% annually, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night worrying about it not being in First National Bank of wherever. If that's you, if your risk tolerance is that level and that's your mindset and how you worry, this crypto world is not for you. I cannot communicate that strongly enough. See, in my mind, having $299 sitting in a bank account losing money every year is something for sure to worry about. But fear of loss is the number one motivator to human beings. And some people, I've already had losses. I'll have more losses. I'll have a bunch of losses when it's all said and done. I can handle it. I'm going to make the best decisions I can. I'm going to look behind the curtain every place I can. I'm going to make the best decision I can with the information I have. And I will win. In the long haul, when it's all said and done, I will win. And that's the way I believe. But everybody believes different. Everybody has different risk tolerance levels, and so on and so forth. And you got to know what yours are. Be aware. Self-awareness is real important. I did a whole webinar on this a few weeks ago for our private group, our team, understanding your own risk tolerance levels. And this world is not for everybody, because some people are just so ingrained into traditional, trust the government, trust the banks, let them take my money and lend it out and then make interest and lend it out again and make interest and then pay me minuscule peanuts. And some people are happy with that and okay with that. And if that's you, this world is not for you. It's not for you. And I'm sorry I've drug you into it. Number 5, I've just covered number 5. Create your own personal plan based upon who you are, what your risk tolerance levels are, so on and so forth, the amount of time you're willing to spend implementing and learning how to get money onboarded with some of these protocols, because it's a chore. It's just a chore. If it was easier, everybody would be doing it. The roadblock is it's not about, just sending money to my brokerage account. It's a whole lot different in this world, and it's a lot more confusing, and it takes a while, and I'm still confused, but it's getting a little bit clearer, but it's not where it will be. And I know that because I've come down this path before in other business ventures. I've done this my whole life. I don't know diddly. Find the right mentors, find the right training, plug in, don't have an original thought, and learn it, Dale. And that's what I've always done my entire life. And that's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing here. But it's not easy. And it's the most difficult business, if you want to call it a business or whatever you want to call it, but it's the most difficult thing I've ever tried to learn, but it's also the most fascinating. I love it. It's phenomenal. I'm having a great time, but my mind is just blown every day, all day. And I've got information overload times 1,000. So that's where I'm at. So you got to sell yourself if you want to do this, and you got to approach this with the right mentality and attitude. If you want to really get into this world, I've given you the first 4 steps that I think are pretty easy to implement. And then I'm going to include some articles that we have over at CMG Crypto that I think would be beneficial for you to read. And you can read them real quickly. They aren't anything really long and drawn out, but because you got to sell yourself. So I would say Bitcoin 101. That's the name of the article. A young guy wrote this for me. It's just an introduction to Bitcoin, the role it will play in the future and how to profit from it now. That's an article over at CMG Crypto. I'll give you the direct links because that website's got a lot of information on there. The next one would be Cryptocurrency is the Future of Finance. The Facts are the Facts. That's a really good place to start. The facts are the facts. The next one would be why are more than 90% of wealthy crypto investors self-made? And I think that's a very interesting article. It comes from the psychological aspect of this. The ability to be able to take risk and not worry yourself to death about losing your $299 or what have you. The other article is the biggest mistake in crypto investing, hands down, no question. Another really good article. So those are the four articles I'll put in the show notes here because I think they're really worth spending some time with if this is something you feel like you want to pursue. And I'll just give you a quick bonus right now. If you say, Dale, I'm with you on this, man. I've got it. I just want to move forward. What's the next thing? Then the bonus would be yield nodes. Yield nodes is a little bit more, they've been operating well over, I think, over 2 years now. A lot of people are involved with them. They're doing a really good job. They're taking money and investing it in high risk, high yield, no projects, and it's paying on average about 10% monthly returns. Monthly, 10% monthly. That's, compound that over a year and it gets pretty serious. But Yield Nodes is a great program. I'll include a link in the description for that as well. We also have some information about that over at CMG Crypto. Bottom line, guys, I'm excited for you. I know many of you listening to this podcast are starting to see what I see. There is more passive income to be earned in this market than any financial or business vehicle on the planet. And again, however, you also have experiences I have, many of you, that it's the most confusing niche on the market, on the planet. It's hard to understand. It's hard to wrap your mind around. It's like trying to learn Chinese. I mean, I believe I have given you the first 5 fundamental steps. I really have. And it's my hope that you will implement all of them as soon as possible. And so that you can have a rock solid foundation on which to build. And those that do will be glad that you did. And those that don't will wish you had. And if this is not the market for you, then you should run far away from it. But if you think, hey, I could do this, Dale, I like this. This makes sense to me. And if you don't take the action now, you're going to wish you had. It's your life. It's your decision. You do what you want to do. But I'm on a mission. I'm on a personal mission to create $10 million crypto portfolio. I want to take as many of you with me as that want to go with me on this journey. I mean, I'm fired up. I'm excited. This is the path that Dale Calvert is on and will be on the rest of his life. If it's not cryptocurrency related, then there's probably a really good chance I'm not going to be involved with it. There's a real good chance. I've learned never to say never, but that's how I feel about it. It's got to be crypto related. It's got to be helping people. So that's where I live. I'm excited, guys. Man, take these steps that I have shared with you. Don't listen to this podcast and forget about it and come back 5, 6, 7 months from now and think, dang, I wish I'd listened to Dale back then. Please decide tonight, decide today, wherever you are in the world. Hey, I'm going to take the first step. I'm going to take the second step. I'm going to follow these steps and get self-educated, get plugged in, because if you don't, you're going to wish you had. All right, guys, I got to run. My grandson and daughter will be here in about an hour. So thanks for listening. Please take action now. What can you do when this podcast is over to take the first steps for yourself? whatever that action is, whatever it is there any reason you shouldn't take it? Is there any reason you shouldn't take that first step and take it right now? Right now. I'll talk to you next week. Y'all have a good one.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.